Hi ladies, I'm Simone from Yummy Mummy Fitness and this is my video showing you all the stretches I do after each of my runs. Let's get started. Alright, first one is a glute stretch. Now I like to use the table for this, but if you don't have a table, you can use a chair, sit down, put one leg across the other and then lean forward towards your foot until you can feel the stretch in your butt. If you can't feel it, just jiggle around a bit until you can. Okay, now when you get started, go forward until you can feel the stretch and then stay in that position until that stretch feeling goes away, and then lean down further until you can feel it stretch again until it goes away and lean back into it again. Now I always go in 3 times and then I switch to the other side. This is just another view so you can see how I'm stretching forward towards my foot. You should feel the stretch in the side of your, right in your butt actually, on the side of your leg that's at the top. Now this is a really important stretch. If your glutes get really tight, you can get all sorts of problems, lower back pains, all the way until the point where you actually can't move your leg. So definitely one of the must-dos every time you go for a run. Alright, let's switch to the other side. So again, put your foot up and then lean forward towards your foot that's at the top until you can feel it in your butt. Once the stretch feeling goes away, come down further and keep doing this about 3 times. It's actually one of my favorite stretches. Love it. If you get really sore in your glutes or you know that you get quite tight in there, you can do the stretch outside of after your runs as well, just during the day. Alright, almost done. Okay, next we're going into our quad stretch. So for this one, lift your leg up and just hold your foot at the back. Really important to keep your knees really close together. A lot of people make the mistake that they have their knees quite far apart and then it's not actually stretching in the right area. And same thing, we're holding it until it's stretched about 3 times and then we'll switch to the other side. Now if you can't feel this stretch, a lot of people are really flexible in their quads, and in that case, if you give your butt on the side where you've got your foot up a little squeeze, you intensify the stretch at the front. Good job, almost done. Alright, next one is our hamstring stretch. Again, I like to use the table for this one, but if you don't have a table, you can do it freestanding as well. So freestanding, cross your legs over and then lean forward to touch the foot that's at the back. And again, just do this on either side. Make sure that your back leg is nice and straight. So again, for this one, we're doing the same thing. Go forward until you can feel the stretch, and then once it eases off, go further down. But you might not be this flexible. If you're not, just lean forward to touch your knee or touch anywhere as far as you can lean forward between your knee and your foot, and just slowly work your way down. You'll see that the more you stretch, the more flexible you get, the closer you'll get to your foot. All right, we'll switch legs to the other side. You should really feel this on the back of your legs between your knee and your butt. It's a really great stretch. If you get quite tight in your hamstrings, that can move up all the way into your lower back, and then you get lower back pains. You can get almost spasms right in your back. So if you feel anything like that, stretch, stretch, stretch. All right, next we're going into our IT band stretch. So for this one, put the weight into your leg that's closest to the table. Keep that really straight. You lift your front foot, your other leg over just for balance, and then push your hip really close to the table. You can also do this stretch leaning against the wall again, push your hip towards the wall or the table, and you should feel that anywhere between the side of your tummy all the way down into towards your knee. It really depends on where you're the tightest. Switch sides. And you might find that you're a lot more flexible on one side than the other. If your IT bands get really tight, it'll start pulling on your kneecap and you might get some knee pains. So really important to do this one. All right, next is our inner thighs. Lean over to one side so that the leg that you're stretching is dead straight, and then you will feel it on the inside of your leg. Good job. Give it a good stretch and then switch over to the other side. Keep stretching it. Good work. Next, we're going into another side stretch, which also is connected to your IT bands, but it's a bit higher up. So for this, lean over right across the side, and you should feel it somewhere between your shoulder and your hip. Usually in your side, you can feel a really good stretch. Do the other side. Good job. Right, the next stretch is one that's often not done as well. It's a hip flexor stretch, and it might look quite strange me doing this. I'm really not tight at all in my hip flexors. If your glutes aren't working well when you're running, you might find that your hip flexors take over and get really tight. In that case, you won't be that flexible, and then you'll really feel it across the front of your hips. Bringing that arm up is really important. That intensifies the stretch. Good job. All right, next, one of the key stretches, calves. So there's a lot of different versions of calf stretches. I find this the most efficient stretch. You can do it against a pole, you can do it against a table, you can just use a curb somewhere on the side of a boardwalk, whatever you can find where you can get your foot into that position. It really stretches your calves intensely. And if you keep your leg straight, it'll stay in the upper part of your calf. If you bend your knee forward a little bit, it'll go lower down into your Achilles. Other side. Okay, remember this stretch is very, very important. It has to be done at least after each of your runs. If you're standing around somewhere and you find a good spot, stretch it anytime you can. It's great. All right, last stretch. I really like this one. It stretches the muscle across the front, right next to your shin. And it's actually quite good to do this one without shoes on as well. Just bend your foot over, give it a stretch out to the side. Great job. That is all our key stretches done. Remember, always, always, always stretch after every single run. Well done.